Hey, congratulations for completing our short quiz designed to reveal your innermost success blockages that's holding you back from receiving all the wealth, love, happiness, and abundance you deserve. Now let's dive right into your results. Based on your responses, you are a highly emotional individual. Happiness and generosity are essential in your life. You have an abundance of energy that most people do not possess, but you need to learn how to channel it to the right thoughts and desires. Your self-sabotaging habits are destructive, and they are preventing you from achieving the success you want in your life. Your 3 innermost success blockages are: limiting beliefs, afraid of what others think of you, compare yourself to others. When you remove these blocks, life becomes more fulfilling rather than monotonous. Well, the truth is, life can be meaningful. A purposeful life can become your reality. When you remove these blocks, life becomes effortless and easy rather than exhausting and disappointing. Maybe you grew up with dreams you thought would come true that haven't. Maybe you had some idea in your heart of what life could be like, but became disillusioned on the way and gave up on those dreams. Well, the truth is, you do not have to give up. The idea of life you had in your mind can become reality. Now please don't panic, because firstly, it's not your fault. There are many reasons why you might be unintentionally attracting the wrong things into your life. It's all about your inner thoughts. And secondly, there is something you can do about it, which we'll get to very soon. You have every right to be wealthy, successful, and happy, but you seem to be lacking the mental mechanics to get there. Until you have developed a clear vision of the life you want for your future, which excites you, you'll find it difficult to get what you desire. They are holding you back from manifesting what you desire. Continue watching if you are ready to take the guesswork out of the equation. If you're ready, you need to hear what I'm about to share with you. Even if you are struggling right now, even if you feel unfulfilled, and even if it's near impossible for you to live a happy, fulfilling, and abundant life, there is one simple weapon that can make all of your dreams happen. It details exactly how to remove your innermost mental blocks and put everything you've learned about yourself today to application so that you can obtain success you cannot even begin to imagine by using a quantum physics technique called bending reality. Do you remember that movie, The Matrix? The one where everyone lived in a virtual reality simulation and the people who knew it was a simulation could bend the matrix to give them super speed and strength? The ability to learn anything in seconds? They could create and have anything they wanted. Remember how the people who knew about the Matrix and really knew what it was were not limited by the same constraints that everyone else was limited by? Imagine for just a moment if that were true. If you could bend and shape reality into any form that you wanted, simply by realizing there is no reality and it's all just a simulation, an interpretation of information that is being processed by your brain. No matter what you want, you can create it just like the characters in the movie who knew about the Matrix. You can have as much money as you ever wanted, incredible relationships, powerful health, a more brilliant mind, an incredible sex life, a more beautiful appearance. Imagine if you can have anything you ever want by bending the Matrix to make it real just like in the movie. Here's the thing, you can. As unbelievable as it sounds, the Matrix is real. Stick with me for just a few moments, and I'll show you that a NASA scientist believes it. And there are 2 billionaires who made their money in technology funding research right now to break us out of the virtual simulation we live in. These people aren't dumb. They made billions of dollars in the technology field, and they believe we're in the Matrix. Here's the thing. While we're in here, we can bend the Matrix to create anything we want with our minds. It's almost like having superpowers. You don't know it yet, but in the next few minutes, you're going to find out that you can do exactly that right now. In this presentation, I'm going to share some pretty strange ideas. Some of them are thousands of years old, and some of them are cutting-edge scientific discovery. You might find yourself feeling a little confused. I can tell you I was very confused the first time I was exposed to this stuff. I understand no one likes that feeling. But if you'll stick with me to the end, you'll thank yourself for doing it. Just remember, confusion is the feeling we get when our brain is searching for an answer. Even though it's a bit unsettling and unpleasant, if you stick with me and work through that feeling, you'll understand how you can easily and quickly bend reality to your will. You'll understand why things haven't worked for you in the past, and how you can easily and quickly design and get the life you want, no matter what that life looks like or how many times you have failed in the past. First, you need to know there are powers that don't want you to know about this secret. I'll explain more about them later. For now, I want you to know that because they have actively kept this information hidden from you, they have kept you away from your dreams. The failings in your life aren't your fault. It's the fault of the people who actively work to keep these secrets hidden from mankind. Secret societies and the politically powerful who use these secrets to gain power while they subjugate mankind. They are responsible for the failings in your life. But starting now, you will find yourself behaving like a force of nature, able to seemingly change reality at your whim. You'll attract the right friends and connections. Money, sex, anything you want can be yours once you understand this one little-known and hidden secret. Imagine for a moment if all reality were just an easily manipulatable simulation that you could reshape into anything you wanted to. What would you bring into your life? A new car? The perfect romantic partner? A beautiful mansion? Lots of friends? More money? Fame? What is it you would want if you could create it with just a thought? Well, you can, even though you don't know you can yet. In this presentation, I'm going to prove to you the most unbelievable idea you've ever heard is true. Here it is. The concept that, once you realize it is true, will change your life forever. The Matrix is real. That's right. We live in a simulation. What you believe you see and hear and touch and taste is just an interpretation your brain makes of information that your senses pick up. There are rules to this simulation, but within those rules, we can change and alter reality. I know you're probably rolling your eyes right now, but stick with me because I'm going to prove it to you. And if you do stick with me for just a few moments, your life will be changed forever. We live in a matrix-like virtual world, and you can bend our world to your will. I know it sounds unbelievable. I thought so too. When I first heard the idea, I thought to myself, well, why can't I just fly like Neo did in The Matrix? The answer, of course, is that's a movie. There are rules to this virtual world, and you have to follow them if you want to get what you want out of life. So if you want $1 billion, you can create it and have it flow to you, but you have to follow the process. And the process you follow is the same no matter what you want. It's easy, quick, and reliable. And if you follow it, you can have anything you'd like. If you don't, you'll just keep bobbing around like a raft on a storm-tossed sea. Now look, the fact that we have to follow a process to create the life of our dreams doesn't make our almost supernatural power any less amazing. It just means we have to work within an overall system to create what we want in this simulation that we call the world. Stick with me for this entire short presentation, because I'm going to prove to you that what I am saying is true, and reveal how you can use this little-known secret to create the life of your dreams. Wealth, leisure, an amazing love life, fame, the power to control every aspect of your life, and much, much more. It can all be yours for the taking if you can get your head around the truth of our world. You can create anything you want in life with your mind. Before I reveal exactly how, there are just 2 things I have to ask of you. 1. Close your email, put your phone in airplane mode, and shut and lock your doors so there are no interruptions. For reasons I will explain in just a minute, I can't guarantee this presentation will be up in a month, or a week, or even an hour. And 2, you are far more powerful than you know or understand. Releasing your power to create and manifest carries countless blessings, but it can also bring terrible consequences to bear on the unethical. So I am demanding that you make a pact with me before you watch this presentation. If you continue watching this presentation, you agree to only use the information I am sharing with you to help, empower, and uplift yourself and others. In this virtual reality we call the universe, there are plenty of all resources for everyone. There is no way to ever go without if you understand and use your true inherent power. So there is never a reason to harm or subjugate anyone, ever. If you keep watching from this point on, you willingly enter this pact with me, and you agree to abide by it. Are you still here? Good. Then it's almost time to explain to you exactly how this all works. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is David Orwell. Well, that's my pen name anyway. I'm using a pen name because, as I mentioned earlier, there are some very powerful and entrenched interests that would keep me from revealing this powerful and transformative information to you. You see, there are people who know the world isn't what it seems, and many of them use this knowledge and insight into the nature of reality solely for personal gain and power over others. I don't see anything wrong with having more money and comforts. Heck, I've greatly increased my wealth and lifestyle with the secret I'm going to share. And why not? This virtual universe we live in has more abundance than we could ever imagine. By definition, it's impossible to run out of anything. Because everything is just information given from our interpretation of it. I'll explain a little more about that in a minute. Just trust me for a quick moment. However, the entrenched powers seek to keep us living in an imagined state of scarcity. They want us fighting over resources that we should never need to fight over, so they can maintain power over us and keep hoarding ridiculous amounts of wealth for themselves. Their ability to enslave us would end if we all understood the power each of us has inside. If you could bend reality to be anything you want, others could no longer impose their will upon you. And then you would finally be free. Before I get into the nuts and bolts explanation of how everything works, you might have to understand that I'm the most unlikely person ever to believe this kind of thing might be true. I enjoy a good movie as much as anyone, but I consider myself much too smart to ever confuse a movie with reality. And it was in that mindset that I had spent 20 years working my butt off only to have nothing for my effort. I had nothing in savings. I didn't even have my own place to live. I called my parents' basement home. I did have a decent car, nothing to brag about, but it was dependable and I knew I could get to work and home. My life was going nowhere fast, with 60-plus hour work weeks, no money, and no romantic relationships to speak of. Heck, I couldn't afford my life as it was. How would I ever afford to go out on dates, etc.? I went to work 6 days a week, worked between 8 and 12 hours each day, and came home, surfed the web, and went to sleep. I know, it's like the stereotype of a loser, but the truth was, I was stuck in the working schedule, and it consumed my life. There just wasn't time for anything else. Then one day, it all changed. Seriously, I know it sounds like a stupid movie, but everything really did change in a moment for me. I was messing around on YouTube looking for scenes from The Matrix, and for some reason a video popped up that said something about Elon Musk and life being a simulation. I figured this was a fan video someone did as a joke. So I clicked on the video expecting a good laugh, but it wasn't a fan video. It was the Q&A session of a talk Elon Musk had given. Elon is the billionaire entrepreneur and founder of PayPal, Tesla Motors, and SpaceX. So in short, a pretty smart guy. The person asking the question was wondering what Elon thought about the idea that our world is a Matrix-like virtual reality simulation. I was stunned. This idiot had a chance to talk to one of the most talented and successful entrepreneurs in the world, and he was asking about this nonsense. I was even more stunned when I heard Elon's answer. Because this pragmatic, successful entrepreneur said the likelihood that we lived in a real physical universe was billions to 1 against. In other words, and just to make it perfectly clear, Elon Musk believes we live in a virtual reality universe, like the Matrix. I watched the short video over and over again, looking for the slightest suggestion that Elon was goofing with the guy. There was none. I did a Google search, and sure enough, this wasn't the first time Elon had said something like this. There were numerous websites and videos in which Elon Musk declared the same thing. The world we live in isn't real. It's a simulation, and we just perceive it as real. And if that weren't enough, I found a news story from a UK newspaper called The Express that told of a senior NASA scientist, Rich Terrell, who said the same thing. Specifically, he said, "In quantum mechanics, particles do not have a definite state unless they're being observed. Many theorists have spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to explain this. One explanation is that we're living within a simulation, seeing what we need to see when we need to see it." And in another news story, Sam Altman, a venture capitalist, says, there are 2 tech billionaires currently trying to figure out how to break us out of the simulation. Heck, come to find out the entire idea that we live in a simulation entered the realm of science because an Oxford University professor, Nick Bostrom, suggested it in a 2003 paper he wrote entitled, Are You Living in a Simulation? My head started spinning when I saw all of this. These are billionaires and top-level scientists and researchers. We're not talking about some YouTube yahoos. This is NASA and Oxford and the founder of PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX. And they're saying we live in a simulation like the Matrix. I was completely floored. How could billionaire entrepreneurs, NASA scientists, and Ivy League professors think we live inside a computer or some similar nonsense? These people must be crazy, I thought to myself. But I couldn't resist looking deeper into the idea. Imagine how stunned I was when I found out this has been a thing for thousands of years. Of course, thousands of years ago, they didn't have the language or understanding of quantum physics to call it a virtual reality simulation, but the concept was there, that everything we see or hear or taste or touch is not real. It's just our interpretation of information that our senses collect and our brain interprets. I know this is pretty crazy stuff, but think of it like Morpheus explains it to Neo in The Matrix. What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is where you might feel a little of that confusion I mentioned earlier. This idea can be hard to get your mind around, but please stick with me because I will prove what I'm saying, and it will change your life forever. By the time we're done, your mind will break through to a world you've never imagined. The possibilities will be endless, limitless. Everything you see will suddenly feel magical, and you will know how to free yourself from the power of those who want to keep you enslaved to their desires and agendas. As I said, when I first found this stuff, I was as baffled as you might be right now. I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep or concentrate on anything else until I got to the bottom of these crazy ideas, so I started searching the net and reading. I wasn't interested in crazy ideas by nuts, so I only read and watched things from reputable sources. Scientists, solid news sources, well-known or well-credentialed individuals. If the website or the person from whom I was gathering information wouldn't be considered a solid source in an academic setting, I didn't care what they had to say. I spent the next 20 hours in front of my computer discovering all the reasons people say we live in a simulation. I read every website, watched every video I could find, and made notes about it all. An idea started to take shape in my severely sleep-deprived brain. I felt like maybe I was starting to understand. I had been up for about 15 hours when I saw the first Elon Musk video. Then I went on a 20-hour online hunting expedition. I even called into work rather than stop my search. As I said, I knew I couldn't do anything until I understood this crazy idea. I felt like my mind was on fire, but after 35 hours I passed on, head on my desk. 2 hours later, I jolted awake and fell off of my chair. My head and back ached, so I stumbled off to bed for a real night's sleep. My dreams I had that night were bizarre, terrifying, and exciting. After almost 14 hours of restless sleep, I woke and thought I dreamed the whole thing. Then I saw the notes I scribbled feverishly in my sleep-deprived fog the night before. I couldn't clearly remember everything I found, but my notes were pretty solid. They were disjointed because I'd written most of them after more than 24 hours without sleep. But once I got everything in order, I could see that I had written all the important stuff down. As I sat at my desk, going through my notes, I started to see a connection between ancient wisdom and modern science. It became clear to me that Elon Musk, the NASA scientist, the Ivy League professor, and the other scientists and physicists and philosophers who thought we lived in a simulation were right. We do live in a simulation, but many of them are wrong about the nature of the simulation. It's not some big artificial intelligence experiment or some futuristic society trying to research their ancestors. It is naturally occurring, and it's simulation. Here's what I mean. When you stand outside and look at a tree, you see green leaves, brown bark, the blue sky over the tree and green grass under the tree. But are there green and blue and brown beams shooting into your eyes that allow you to see these things? No. You see those things because your brain interprets the information your eyes collect. I know what you're thinking. Dave, I see the different colors because that's reflected, so the leaves are green because of the way they reflect sunlight. You're right. Your eyes collect information about the light, and your brain interprets that information. But your brain can interpret the information differently, and it can change the color of everything you see. Don't believe me? Well, maybe you remember this dress that made rounds on the internet a few years ago. Some people saw this dress as gold and white, and others as blue and black. Some folk randomly saw it change back and forth. Here is a side-by-side representation of what people saw. When people looked at the dress, they either saw the coloring on the left or the coloring on the right. For some people, the colors switched back and forth at different times. So two people standing side by side could look at the same picture and different colors. Or the same person could look at it and see one set of colors, then look a few hours later and see a different set of colors. Personally, I saw the gold and white. The dress is really blue and black. Here's the point. Because of the way our brains adjust to changing light conditions, we see the dress as different colors at different times. The picture didn't change, it was how our brains interpreted the information that changed. But to approximately half the people who saw this picture, the dress was blue and black, and to the other half, the dress was gold and white. Same dress, same picture, different interpretation and different reality. But this goes much deeper than a picture on the internet, because things you think are real and solid are just dense representations of energy and information. For example, put your hand on something right now. If you're sitting at a desk, put your hand on the desk. If you're in a chair, put your hand on the armrest. Wherever you are, place your hand on something next to you. Now, once you've done that, feel it. Is it hard or soft? Pleasant or displeasing? Do you like the way it feels or no? What if I told you that you aren't touching anything at all? That at the subatomic level, the atoms in your hand never came in contact with the atoms of the thing you were touching? The truth is, the charges that build up in the electrons in the atoms repel your hand from the object with such strength that you can't ever actually touch anything. You'll say, but I can feel it. And I'd say, no, you can't. Your brain is simply interpreting signals that are traveling through your nervous system based on the charge in the electrons of the thing you were trying to touch. You think you touched it because you felt it. However, in truth, at the smallest levels of reality, you've never touched anything in your life. You have simply felt the charges of the electrons on other things and people and interpreted that as touch. But the virtual reality doesn't end there. What if I told you that the electrons aren't even solid? According to Dean Radin, the senior scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences in California, electrons kind of blink in and out of reality. They can be in one place, then disappear and reappear in another place, without moving in the space between the two places. They're not just moving fast, they are instantly teleporting between the places, just like the sci-fi shows as a kid. Only it's real, and science has documented it. But it even gets stranger, because the center of the atom, called the nucleus, does the same thing. It blinks in and out of space. So it's there, then it's gone, then it's back. So the entire atom blinks in and out of reality. Mr. Radin even describes the electrons and the nucleus of an atom as more like bytes of information rather than material. Information which our brain interprets for us and we perceive as reality. And both Fred Alan Wolf, noted physicist and author, and Dr. Amit Goswami, a well-respected nuclear physicist, talk about how reality is just energy when you're not perceiving it with one of your senses. And when you look, or hear, or feel it, the energy forms into the solid reality you perceive, at least while you're perceiving it. The world appears to be solid and fixed, but in truth, at the smallest levels, the world is made up of fluctuations in energy and information. Even stranger, matter isn't solid, it's made up of atoms. Remember, atoms are made of small bits of energy and information, which fluctuate in and out of reality. I know that's hard to believe when you look at a wall and touch it. I know it's difficult to understand when you try and walk through that wall and end up with a sore nose. But these are prominent scientists with prestigious academic positions and several books and papers and talks under their belts. As this all started to sink in, I was completely confused. I didn't know what to think. Probably just like you, I thought to myself, this stuff sounds like complete mumbo-jumbo. How could any reasonable person believe this? It seemed more like I was reading something from some sci-fi book rather than from scientists and PhDs. But what really put me over the edge was the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. You see, I can deal with the idea that the world is made up of tiny bites of information and energy at the smallest levels. It was hard to get my head around, but I can accept it. Because at the end of the day, who cares really? It's cool to think about, but it doesn't change anything. That wall I'm looking at might be made up of mostly empty space, but if I try to walk through it, I still get a concussion. But when I saw the work of Dr. Emoto, I knew my life would never be the same. It became clear to me that the teachings of spiritual and religious systems for thousands of years were correct. Our attention and intention could change the world, literally. Those changes start at the smallest level, but they grow to the largest levels. Now stay with me, because I think you'll be truly amazed at what I'm going to reveal next. Dr. Emoto, who unfortunately passed away in 2014, ran experiments with water. He would flash freeze water into crystals. The trick was, he would have people mentally project emotions into different vials of water. Some vials had love projected into them. Some vials had hate projected into them, etc. To a vial, the water that had love and other positive emotions projected into them had beautiful symmetrical crystals. Each was different based on the thought and emotion that was projected, but they were all beautiful. As for the vials that contained hate and other negative emotions, well, by now I hope you can guess that the crystals were unsymmetrical and ugly. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could it be possible that what someone says to a vial of water could affect how crystals formed in that water when they froze? There was only one possible explanation. Your mind interprets the information you gather with your 5 senses and creates a picture of the world for you, and it sends information back to the world that can change the world in accordance with your desire and will. When people sent loving thoughts to the water, the crystals were beautiful. Hateful thoughts produced damaged crystals. Our minds affect the world around us, and we can control that effect with our intentions. Is it possible that the religious traditions were right? Have we humans acted with undue arrogance for the last 500 years by assuming that only through scientific discovery could we find the truth about the world? Could hundreds of years of scientific inquiry prove what the primitive mystics knew for thousands of years? Are we only discovering now what older cultures knew? Buddha said this world is an illusion. Hindus believe that there is a God, a creator within each one of us. The Jewish mystic tradition, Kabbalah, holds that people who know how can manifest their will in the world. And Jesus Christ told his followers in John 14:12, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." I had to know for myself. Was it possible to use my mind and my will to create the life I wanted to live? I knew all of these traditions said that people needed to take action toward what they wanted to bring into reality. The scientists didn't say anything about that. They were explaining the nature of the universe, not suggesting how to use that nature to create the life you want. So I decided to test this thing out. To start, it just made sense that I had to get perfectly clear about what I wanted, so I did. I made a very specific list of the things I wanted. I wanted to have my own place to live in a specific neighborhood, upgrade my car to a particular make and model, find someone I could date and maybe eventually marry. And yes, I had a very specific list of physical, mental, and emotional attributes. I knew I needed more money to do all of this, but I also had to cut back my hours at work. Working 70 or 80 hours a week isn't conducive to dating or house hunting. Once I got clear, I followed some easy guidelines about how to manifest my desires and kept myself open to accepting what I want if it came. Exactly 7 days later, a woman walked into my place of employment, and as soon as we saw each other, it was instant attraction. She was exactly what I wanted physically. I could have drawn her from my description. We chatted for as long as I could without getting fired, then exchanged phone numbers. That night we talked for hours, just like teens. Same the next night. She was exactly what I wanted mentally and intellectually. Finally, I told her I wanted to spend some time together, but that I worked 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I literally didn't have time. She came up to my workplace several times over the next week and almost got me fired. 2 or 3 weeks later, she told me about an opening at the place she worked. Less hours and almost double the salary. I wasn't really qualified, but I knew I could learn quickly. I applied for the job, she gave me a recommendation, and I was hired. I couldn't believe all this was happening. More than once I literally pinched myself to see if I was dreaming. Within a few weeks after, I had an apartment of my own. 2 more months and I was driving the car I wanted. Within months after getting clear on what I wanted and following these super simple exercises, I had everything. Since then, I have done this process over and over again. In the last few years, I have created a nice investment account, bought a beautiful house, married the woman of my dreams. She's the same girl I fell in love with at that ridiculous job, and I drive a car that constantly gets stares. Anything I want, I can simply bend reality to get it. I can promise you, today my life is pretty awesome. And as my blessings continued to pour in, my family and friends couldn't believe what was happening. They definitely wanted to know how all the changes were happening. I told them about my secret technique I started to call bending reality, and they all wanted to know more about it. Sure enough, I gave them some of the most important steps I developed to bend reality. I was amazed at how well it worked for my friends and family. I couldn't believe it when the tips I shared started helping my friends get job promotions, raises, and all kinds of money flowing in. My single friends were able to create new relationships. The results my friends and family got proved to me anyone could bend their reality and create what they wanted out of life. So,
I had been single for 18 years. I'm 37 years old and have everything I want in my life. Time, money, and financial freedom, except the only thing missing was love. I have wanted to be in love for such a long time, but things weren't going well. I get awkward around guys and tend to put on a brave front forward. A friend introduced me to Reality Bending Secrets, and I bought it because I was tired of relying on my own strength. I implemented the strategies taught in this course, and now I finally met the love of my life. I have learned how to let go and found the man of my dreams. I'm so happy, and I wish nothing but happiness for everyone out there looking for love. Keep believing and stay strong. If the love of my life can find me after 18 years of being single, then surely your love can find you. Thank you, David.
First of all, thank you, David, for creating this course that's changing so many people's lives, including mine. 2 weeks ago, I started to manifest my new job, and I have a wallpaper of my ideal income on my phone. So for the following 2 weeks, job interviews came, and I noticed the pay being offered was not what I had asked for, which was $800. Then 2 days ago, I went to this job interview, which was for a call center, and guess what? The paycheck was $2,200, which was the exact amount I had on my wallpaper. I am so happy and excited to start my new career.
over the last year, I've taken the secrets I used to transform my life and wrote a program that details exactly how I was able to do it using the power of bending reality. My program is called Reality Bending Secrets, and to show you my appreciation for watching this video, I'd love to pay it forward and help you change your life. For less than a cup of coffee a day for 30 days, you can make an investment in yourself that will pay off for the rest of your life. Instead of forcing the universe, you simply tap into the abundance that's already there and grab what you want. The truth is, the universe provides limitless abundance in every aspect of life. I enjoy it every day, and I want to help you do the same. That said, I've seen people charging ridiculous amounts of money for programs like this. Look, this information has been kept secret, but it belongs to everyone. People who are making millions by teaching it are simply making vast sums of money selling you something that is already yours. I don't want to do that. I want you to have access to these secrets so you can bend your reality like me and others. That said, I do have to pay for a website and advertising so people will even know about bending reality. I need to cover those costs and still make it accessible to everyone. That's why I want to offer you a special price of just $37 today. Look, I know that life can be tough. In fact, without knowing how to bend reality, it's rarely easy. So if your life isn't where you want it to be, if you're struggling in any area, this program can end the struggle and give you exactly what you're looking for. You don't have to stay in a life where disappointment and discouragement are all you know. You don't have to deal with anxiety, stress, or worry about bills and debt. You don't have to stay in a job you can't stand. You don't have to stay in a relationship you don't like, and you don't have to be alone. Believe me, I'm proof that you don't need to stay stuck. If you're ready to quit struggling, if you're ready to get unstuck, you can change where you are. And to make sure you have everything you need to get everything you want faster than you can currently imagine, I want to include 3 bonuses with reality bending secrets. Bonus number 1, reality calibrations. This bonus is chock full of techniques and strategies you can use to practice giving and receiving all the amazing gifts we enjoy in life. You'll get specific steps on what to do each day to bring more riches into your life without hard work or struggle. This bonus is worth $49.95, but it's yours free when you order Reality Bending Secrets. Bonus number 2, Visual Reality Board. This can act as your vision board, since it has all of life's important areas listed, with room below to write down what you want to achieve in each. The first step in reaching your goals is knowing what they are. You can use this reality vision board to list and focus on the important things you want to attract, from more money to a better job or your own business, better health and wellness, your life partner and soulmate, and more. This bonus is worth $19.95, but yours free when you order Reality Bending Secrets. Bonus number 3, Reality Idealization Workbook. This bonus gets up close and personal, asking the questions that get to the heart of your happiness. By asking the tough questions, you'll know what you really want in your life. This book walks you through all the important areas in life, so you can make sure you're focusing on what truly matters. It's worth $29.95, but yours free when you order Reality Bending Secrets. Honestly, even without these bonuses, Reality Bending Secrets would be a steal at $197. If you bought the bonuses just by themselves, your investment would be almost $70. However, if you really want to change your life right now, I want to help you do it. You can have the Reality Bending Secrets program and the 3 bonuses for the embarrassingly small investment of just $37. I'm sure you'll agree that $37 is a tiny investment if reality bending is 1/10 as powerful as I have promised. The thing is, it's not 1/10 as powerful. If anything, it's more powerful than I've described. I shared with you how I completely changed my life in just a few short months, and went on to create a dream life in a few short years. If you're ready and committed to changing your life, go ahead and click on the yellow button that says Add to Cart. You'll get immediate access to the program and all your bonuses, and you can grab it right now for just $37. This is your chance to gain complete and absolute control over your life. Never again will you have to resign yourself to anything that's less than perfect. You can have the perfect job, the perfect relationships, the perfect house, abundant health. No matter what you want, it can be yours, more quickly and easier than you have ever imagined. You deserve it, whether you believe you do or not. It is your birthright, and it has been stolen from you. You're supposed to be happy. Here's the chance to put an end to the stress and anxiety that comes from not having what you want. If not now, when? If not you, who? If you don't take action today, you might never. And you'll keep living the same unfulfilling life, the same gray existence. But imagine if you took action. Imagine a year from today, having taken action today, and put reality bending secrets to work. Where are you living? What's your bank balance? Do you have a perfect relationship, or are you playing the field with 3 or 4 gorgeous people? What are you driving? Are you healthy, physically fit and attractive? Is all that worth $37? I thought so. Click on the orange button that says Add to Cart now. That's why it's important you order right now while it's fresh on your mind. Click the Add to Cart button right below and let's start right now.